This week on Gymwright Live, we interview Vaughn Vernon of Affiliate Guard to learn all about the new Safe Sport Act and what you need to do about it to protect your business. But before we get into that, I'd like to give a warm thank you to SiteRight.io as our official sponsor for this show. Every gym owner deserves a great website. Now there is no excuse not to have one. Upgrade your online presence by heading over to SiteRight.io today. Also, for those of you listening to this via podcast, if you aren't already a member of the network, our free private Facebook group for gym owners, you are missing out. With almost 1,800 motivated gym owners in there, along with our team of growth specialists, you're going to find tons of great conversations, live weekly Q&A sessions with yours truly, the video version of these episodes, as well as step-by-step how-tos of some of the most effective strategies out there for gym owners today. Simply go to vip.gymwright.com to get access right away. By the way, this will also get you our free sales and marketing planner for those of you who don't have it yet. So head on over and join the network today. It's totally free. All right, let's get this show on the road. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Gymwright Live. I am your host, Marcus Gursey, and this week we welcome to the show the one, the only Mr. Vaughn Vernon, founder of Affiliate Guard. Vaughn, we have worked together. You actually insured my gym, CrossFit Active Performance, from the day we opened to the day we sold. I think you guys still actually handle the insurance policy today. Yep. I had the chance to bump into you again at the Iron and Mortar Summit just a couple of weeks ago, and had some really good conversations, and you had a lot of really insightful things to say about what all is going on as far as this new legislation with the Safe Sport Act and just safety and what your trends you're seeing and all that. So I thought it would be really valuable to bring you on the show here to share some of that. So thank you for coming on. I'm excited to have you on. Welcome to the show.
Hey man, really appreciate it. Really good connecting to you again up there at the summit.
Awesome, man. For those of you watching the video version, Vaughn is coming to us, I think, from somewhere up in the middle of nowhere, and the internet connection is only so good. So if the video feed gets a little funky or something, please do excuse that. We're going to get Vaughn up to technical par here one of these days. But in the meantime, as long as the audio sounds good and you guys get the point, that's the priority, because what Vaughn's got to share is incredibly important. So that said, Vaughn, we're going to be talking about the Safe Sport Act and also and a lot of the things that you're seeing happening and issues and safety and all that. But before we get into all of that stuff, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you even got into the insurance business.
So yeah, man, I've pretty much been in this racket since the dawn of time. We work for my dad started the agency back in '83.
Okay.
And I came on board in 1999 and sold my soul to the devil, and the price was cheap. Been there ever since. So yeah, a family-owned agency. It's my dad, myself, and my two little brothers. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's been a ride, dude. So been doing jiu-jitsu for years, and that's how I got into the CrossFit world for sure. Insured a lot of the gyms around Utah here, and broke my foot at jiu-jitsu. That took forever to heal up, a couple months off, go back in to renew his policy, and he was nice enough to mention how much weight I gained from not doing anything, right? So anyways, that next Saturday morning, it's open mat, so I go in and go grapple, and I look over and see all these crazy people doing, it was Fran, I didn't know what Fran was, like, what in the entire hell is that? That looks horrible. What is going on over there? Well, anyways, started doing it, loved it, and started asking about insurances and stuff around Utah, and saw the vision, was still unfortunate enough to be a part of this awesome community and helping people out. And man, so that started in 2006. So from 2006 to now, we hover around 2,500 gyms around the country. And we're doing, we do it all. We do MMA, we do CrossFit, Orange Theory, F45, you name it, we do it. So not in a little sector there. It's a very broad form.
Yeah, you specialize in working with independently owned gyms, basically, right? And you, I mean, just from what my firsthand experience was, you came recommended by everyone that I talked to when I got into the game. Everyone I knew was working with you, and they're like, dude, you got to talk to Vaughn. He'll take good care of you. And, when you're getting started, you hear that kind of stuff all the time, and you're like, okay, whatever. But as soon as we chatted and, and how you took care of us, you did a phenomenal job. And I know tons of people still have nothing but the most incredible things to say about you, your team, your service, and all that, man. So you've been in the game a long time. You do an awesome job at what you do. And really what stands out to me more than anything is that you give a shit. You legitimately understand and care about these business owners and what they deal with. And you work with the individuals to such a degree to really help protect them and work through when things do go awry, because they do. I mean, you mentioned some stories at the Iron and Mortar Summit of some pretty gnarly things that happen, right?
Yeah, a lot of it stuff you have zero control over.
Right.
I mean, yeah.
Would you mind sharing like maybe a story or two like you did at the event about, some of the things that you're seeing? Like, for example, so Vaughn, you're sponsoring today's giveaway, by the way, in our Gym Owner Appreciation Week. Obviously, you know that. And you are donating an AED, which is, it's a $1,400 device, typically retail. And you're going to be we're raffling that off with our giveaway today, which is awesome. But that whole thing stemmed from this story that you told, and how some gyms, or a lot of gyms, most gyms actually don't even have them, right? We like had a hey, everyone raise your hand if you have an AED or don't. And when I looked around the room, I was like, oh my God, no, most people don't have one at all. And your stories were kind of nuts. So can you kind of share some of your experience with that? And you don't have to get too gnarly if you don't want to, but.
Yeah, I'll just give vague scenarios here. So there's I believe 14 different states that it is state law. If you have a physical fitness facility, you have to have an AED. It's on my website under AED Save Lives, at the very bottom of the page. It'll reflect that, these states, you got to have it. So we had a fatality at a gym, and they did not have a defibrillator, and it was state law, and that state had to have a defib. We got sued by the family, right, for wrongful death. Mm-hmm. And there was 3 doctors at trial. One of the 3 doctors said, had there been a defibrillator on site, this athlete might have survived, right? And being, again, state law, you got to do that. So we awarded, it was actually the deceased ex-wife, we awarded her hovering around $1.2 million.
Wow.
Because that was not in place, right? Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, I see this come across my desk a lot, unfortunately. I mean, so far this year, we've had 5.
Wow.
It happens.
Right.
And I mean, I take this mindset. We are in the business here of making people better, making people healthier, happier, all things good. And not a matter if, it's a matter of when something of that nature happens, and you don't have the skill set or taken time to be educated on what needs to be done to do everything you could in your power to revive this individual, it's a big deal. I mean, I've talked to some of these gym owners, and I'm asking them, like, after the fact, months after the fact, what's it like in your community? And they said it's so different. It is so different. And it's something that has to be looked at. You have to take the time to do it. I don't care if you get defibrillators through Affiliate Guard, Costco, first responders in your community. I don't give a shit. Just get one. Mm-hmm. Yep.
So now what we're talking about today with the Safe Sport Act, right? Mm-hmm. This is kind of part of that. Can you break that down for us? Like, first of all, what is it, and what does it mean, as in like what's changing, and just kind of give us the full once over on this thing.
Yeah. So this is in light of what happened with USA Gymnastics, this whole Me Too movement, all this icky, super bad stuff.
Yep.
Okay. So in the year 2020, all this legislation is going to be coming full circle into our world here. Okay. And these are what you need to have in place to be in compliance with this legislation. So this is geared towards minors, right? 17 and younger. Okay. So if you are interacting in any way, shape, or form with these minors, mandatory background checks done on every trainer every year. You have to have an anonymous 800 tip line and email. If someone sees some grooming or something not good, they can anonymously make the tip, right? We have to have EAP, accident procedures stuff, where if you do see something bad happen, the correct way to intake the content of X, Y, and Z. Training done on the trainers to recognize if something bad does happen. And there's a couple other different facets to it. I can't remember off the top of my head. I'll give you the link when we get off this, so people can review on how all that stuff looks. Now, this is a lot of moving parts here. This is going to be pain in the ass to get in compliance if you want to start training minors, but it is what it is. So we have been working for about the past year on a platform called Greenlight. Greenlight will get you in compliance turnkey with this new legislation if you are training minors.
Does this does that apply also to, if let's say I don't train minors, but what if I have like a kids area?
Absolutely. I'm glad you brought that up. If you are interacting with anybody 17 and under in any way, shape, or form, any facet, anything, this has to be in place.
So even if it's okay, so let's say I've got like the unsupervised like kids corral, like, hey, you can drop your kids off over there. There's a little window, parents can see them. There isn't even someone watching them. All the same rules apply. So they don't have to be a customer. They just have to literally be in your building.
Yeah. So again, common denominator here, if something inappropriate happens and you don't have XYZ in place here and you're not in compliance with legislation, you get investigated, that's going to be a really shitty day to be a business owner. Yeah.
Yeah. That's, I think that's the thing that a lot of people don't realize, that it's just any interaction, right? So even if, let's say you have members who are working out and their kids sitting at the front on a bench playing on their iPad, that counts.
Absolutely.
Right. So basically all of us, because I think that happens one way or the other, whether it's officially as a kids program or a kids corral, or it's, like I said, the kids just sitting waiting for mom to finish her workout. You now have to make sure that you're compliant and that you cover your bases. Okay. So what is this? What is the Project Greenlight? What does it entail? How does this work? Like, how does this help a gym owner? And also, do they have to be your customer? Is this something that you guys are offering community wide? How does this all work?
So yeah, I am building this into the Affiliate Guard program. So all clients on our ship will be in compliance turnkey. We are still kicking the tires on how that's going to look for people outside of our flag, and we'll have something on that by the end of the week on how that's going to look.
Nice.
So there's a couple different facets to this, right? So once you are logged in to Greenlight, pay your fees, then you're going to get links and stuff to get registered for the compliance issues, and it's going to be all blockchain, so it's not going to get anything's going to be slipped through the cracks or anything of that nature. We are going to also be implementing, so we get a lot of different claims too. I'm just going to go off on a little side trail here. We get a lot of claims too with rigs falling off the wall or your rings coming down from the ceiling. This is going to also have it built into where every quarter we're pinging you to do inspections on the rigs, ropes. If you have your barbell stored on a wall or whatever, make sure everything's nice and solid, to where if it does fail and someone gets injured, we can prove that, hey, look, we're maintaining our stuff. It's all blockchain. This is when it was done. and we're getting it set up to where it won't stop pinging you until it's done. So I look at that as like a stage 5 clinger, right? So, and the same thing applies too with background checks done on your trainers. So it's $15 per year per trainer. Once that comes up expiration, like 90 days before expiration, we're going to ping the gym owner and that coach. So there's no, gaps there, if you will.
Got it, man. This takes the professionalism, I think, up a notch or several notches for a lot of gym owners, because I know that a lot of the people that we we have in our community are winging it pretty loosely. Whether it's from how they are compensating or not compensating people, under the table or not, or,
Right.
insurances and safety or training or the equipment like AEDs, and, hey, we built this rig ourselves. Like I was there for all that. I did all those things at one point myself too. And it's still happening. And it's actually the majority of gym owners out there that are, I think, leaving themselves open to, basically an overnight shutdown, right? Like if one of these incidences happens, which, we hope it never does. But as you said, if you're in this long enough, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when, right? And something is going to happen that if you're not protected, your whole dream, your whole vision, the jobs that you create, all the people that you serve, all that can basically stop, right? You've seen some pretty serious cases of, where people aren't staying compliant, or, rigs failing, and they're, whatever issues that,
Yep.
you can lose your business, and you can lose your tail in the whole thing. It's way worse than just losing the business. Right?
People get real injured, from not just taking the time.
Right. Okay. So what else do you want to add to that? This seems like there's, I know we covered a lot of ground between, what the act is and what it entails, and then what Greenlight does. What else would you add for anyone watching this that, they can do to help, whether it's, the insurance, or, what else are you seeing trend wise, maybe that we can help these guys with today?
I'd say a lot of it would be systems, so like the owner of the gym keeping current certificates on the coaches, if it's, whatever they got going on, if it's personal training or powerlifting or whatever. On my end of the stick, with my insurers, I have relationships with where if we get an oh shit claim, I mentioned this at the summit, like the past 5 years, I've been seeing these lawsuits, the trainers getting drawn into litigation, right? And if that trainer is not certified in the movement that he's instructing, and we cannot provide a certificate that this guy knows his head from a hole in the ground, there's no coverage honored for that trainer. That'd be a really shitty conversation.
Yes, it would.
Of hey, you're the insurance company now, dude.
Right.
Yeah.
You actually mentioned something. Now I remember when we were sitting, I think it was when we went to like that pub in the evening one night, we were talking about insuring your staff, right? So actually providing benefits for staff. I didn't even realize that you did this.
Yep.
And how like accessible it actually is for a lot of gym owners. Can you break that down a little bit? Tell us a little bit more, like what you do, how it works.
Absolutely. So I've worked on this piece forever and a day, and starting to hit pay dirt until the Affordable Health Care Act came into play and just blew me out of the water. And I met some guys out of New York where that's their wheelhouse is health benefits, and told them what I had going on, what a healthy demographic this is, what a good risk it is. And wanted the monthly fees to reflect that, right? With people that give a shit about their health, because we're not in those other pools with the chronically ill,
Right.
Why do we need to be paying that shit? So the concept we do is called health sharing. Okay. This started in the late 80s with the Christian ministries, and it's not an insurance product. And dude, I got to tell you, I had the hardest time wrapping my two brain cells around healthcare that's not insurance. I'm like, I don't know about this. It's kind of sketched out. And the more I educated myself and the further I went down the rabbit hole, I'm like, yeah, I'm doing this. So I practice what I preach. I've been on this plan for 3 years. I've had to use it a couple different times, and it's been fantastic. My wife gets to bring her doctors. I get to bring my physical therapists and all that stuff. I'm not rat holing into a network or anything like that. And this is a community of like-minded individuals that give a shit about their health. Yeah, we're not in these other pools. And so this is available to all coaches and trainers. This is a month-to-month subscription. So if you hop onto this and a spouse gets a different job and better benefits, you can shut this thing down at any time. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I get a lot of questions on this on like, what if I need to go in and get my annual physical done or whatever. Okay. All preventative care is built into the program. You go in as a self-pay, cut us back the bill, and then we cut you a check back for that.
Mm-hmm.
Up to I believe it's 133% of what Medicaid pays out. Okay. So this is mammograms. This is physicals. I just took my son in to get his physical for football coming up. That was $120, send a check back. I get my money back sub 30 days. So real quick, when my wife had to get her hysterectomy done, I mean, it was crazy, absolutely crazy. So they say to go in as a self-pay, right? So I went into the hospital, so give me a self-pay rate for this. It was about 43 grand. Within about 72 hours, they had that negotiated down to $19,000. They overnighted me a check. I am a shameless points whore on my credit card, so I put that whole procedure on my credit cards, got a ton of points, and paid my credit cards off with that check, right? So from blood work, hospital, surgeon, anesthesiologist, medications, that cost me $500 out of my pocket for everything. Done.
Wow. And
you have to be a little bit more hands-on.
Right.
Go ahead.
Yeah, but there was another gentleman sitting next to us who was saying like, wait, how fast did you guys pay? Because he was on a similar thing, right? And he was saying it was like months, like 3 to 6 months. Sometimes you have to wait to get paid back on those things. And your guys' program is like you said, you got yours within a few days.
Yeah, we don't roll on that platform at all.
So that's really, really cool because just as from my standpoint, this looks like as a gym owner, you are now able to provide benefits to your staff, right? To offer this kind of thing to your employees, whether contracted or W-2, that doesn't matter, right?
Doesn't matter.
Right? As a perk.
Matter. So this is how the architecture looks. I didn't mean to cut you off. I'd say about 95% of the gym owners I do business with offer these health benefits to their staff.
Mm-hmm.
The gym will pick up 50 points and then the trainer will pick up the other 50 points. That's historically what I've been seeing on my end of the stick there.
Okay. And what I was getting at is that there are so many gym owners that don't have insurance even for themselves, let alone staff, which is insane. Right? We're in the business of being physical every day. You're training at a high intensity level all the time. You are helping people with weights and climbing things. And I mean, injuries abundant, right? And wear and tear at least, right? Just because you may be 25 when you're doing this does not mean that that's not coming full circle when you're 35, right? And not having insurance is a big issue. And it's always because it's too expensive. It's too difficult because it's complicated, right? As a small business owner, you're like, wait a minute, do I just have to go buy my own policy? And wait, wow, that is way more expensive than I thought it was. And what if I want to get it as a business and, but I just want to do it for myself? No, you got to have minimums it's complicated for a lot of people. And they're just kind of throw their hands up and say, well, then I'll just deal with it when I deal with it. And hopefully I can afford it, right? And that is, again, probably the majority of people that I've interacted with. I mean, over the last 10 years, even still recently, it's still a thing where most don't. So if you're watching this, I encourage you, Vaughn, I consider you a friend, but I also consider you the best at what you do in our space. Again, just because I was a customer of yours and you helped us through things and everything was seamless. Everything was always super easy. And I wish I would have known about that. I don't think it was available then, but
No, it
that
wasn't.
I would have bought this for myself, my family, my whole team. We would have done that because I wanted to buy benefits for everyone. But when we looked at the bill, it was like, whoa, that's like another like 4 or 5 grand a month,
Right.
right, in perks. Which, I mean, we were doing well, but we weren't doing that well, right? To where we got an extra 4 or 5 grand to burn for something that was, cumbersome. Not only was it expensive, but it was a lot to manage. It was complex, right? Where this sounded pretty simple.
Yeah, it's super complex. And I look at it like this too, man. Like region wise, I am in shock at some of these deductibles that are attached to healthcare. Like
Bonkers.
10 freaking G's, 15 freaking G's. Why buy it?
Yeah, that's exactly right. What's the point? I mean, aside from, you got your leg cut off or something, and it's like, okay, we're now exceeding these crazy things, right? Or you have to get heart surgery. But for what most people deal with, I mean, it's like, well, what am I really paying for, right? So, yeah, I think it's really cool that you guys offer that. I did not even know that until we were sitting there, 10 days ago,
Right.
and you had mentioned that. Awesome, man. Well, dude, I want to say thank you so much for coming on here and sharing your wisdom. And I mean, you're always a good time to chat with. And I'm looking forward to hopefully meeting up with you again here in the next few months and being able to continue the conversations we were having. So I guess final question for you today, my friend. In one sentence, if you could give one piece of advice to a gym owner, what would it be?
That's easy peasy lemon squeezy. Get an AED if you don't have one.
Easy enough. And I know you guys are giving one away, and you guys actually sell them too. Is that correct?
Yeah, so I hooked up with AED Superstore out of Madison, Wisconsin. I don't make a damn dime off it. I pass the savings along to you guys, and they give you discounted replacement parts on the pads and batteries. If your state has funky laws, they get you in compliance with all that stuff. And it's just been an awesome partnership with these guys. And I told them a couple years ago, I was talking to them, told them what I had going on. They want to make me a rep. I said, absolutely not. Give them the best deal these guys can so they can keep people safe. It's a big deal.
Easy enough. And the savings were pretty substantial. I don't want to let anything out of the bag, but it was substantial, right? They retail for like $1,400, and people getting them through you are getting, I think, almost like a wholesale price.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right. So
$951. So
yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yep.
Okay. Well, then that said, man, dude, again, thank you so much for coming on here. That was all super important info. Always a blast chatting with you. Where can people find out more about you and Affiliate Guard?
Yeah, affiliateguard.info. You can always call us at the office, 801-677-0076. We're always around.
Awesome, man. Thanks again for coming on. I appreciate you and everything that you do in our community, man. And I want to thank all of you motivated gym owners out there for joining us today as well. If you're interested in learning more how we can help you grow your gym, simply visit gymwright.com to schedule your free strategy session with me today. Also, if you'd like to watch this show live and see beautiful faces like Vaughn's in real time, you can join the conversation right here in the network starting now, every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Today is 10 a.m. I know that. But moving forward, starting next week, they're going to be on Wednesdays at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Thank you guys all again for all your support. Get out there and build something that matters. We'll see you guys again next week. Until then, bye-bye.